So in this video I'm going to be talking about map meta, and what map meta means is it's just strategies that are commonly used when you first spawn into the map, and some other stuff that you can do later in the map. I'm going to be talking about 3 maps in particular, those maps being Office 1, 2, and 3, and then at the end of each section I'll include some clips of people hopefully using the strategies that I talked about. The first level that I'm going to talk about is Office 1, the level that I'm on right now. And this map has quite a lot of meta. The main thing is that it revolves around these 2 net guns. And generally, when you first spawn, everybody will race up here to get these net guns. And there's a lot of ways that you can get up there, even though it may seem pretty straightforward. So I'll go over it spawn by spawn. For this one here, there's the most options. You can either run up here, go around, jump up here, and get the net gun, or you can go through this glass, then jump up and get the net gun. That's significantly faster than running around, but it gets even faster if you go through the glass, and then you're good. You can do a ragdoll jump up here to skip the jump that you'd have to do on this, and a lot of the time that'll guarantee the kill on the other person. If you're not very comfortable clipping through this glass, then you can go around and then still do the ragdoll jump. That's one of my favorites. That's usually what I do. It's very consistent and it's easy. And especially if you're on the right, the person on the left doesn't have the option to clip through the glass. So assuming they don't do the same thing as you, you'll probably end up with the kill. If you spawn on the left side, it's important to know that you can't clip through this glass here. You can clip through the door, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. So basically, your only option is to jump up to get the net gun. You can go for the spring. I don't know if it's faster or not, but I think this is just jumping around this and going up is faster and more controlled. But your other option is if you get the bottom spawn and you're playing in a 4-person match and there's people above you, then you might want to go down to get the minigun, because this is going to be a much better tool for dealing with the people who have net guns up here. If the other person also goes for the minigun, you're going to want to grab a dueling pistol, or you can grab the box and try and disarm them. Sometimes that works better. That pretty much covers everything that you can do out of spawn. So as far as stuff that you can do during the game goes, it's pretty important to know that you can shoot through this wall here. I'm using an angle save wall shot, but you can do it the regular way too. And you can, if there's somebody over there camping, you can counter them with a net gun from the inside. This is a pretty good camping spot normally though, because it's almost impossible to approach from below, and if somebody's coming from the top, you can angle them kind of like that. Another way that you can counter somebody who's over there is if you grab the minigun down here. It's a little bit tricky, but you can shoot through the wall if you get kind of lucky. You see I did it a couple times there. It's important to get good at this grenade throw that you can do over the top here. Like that. You can counter people that are coming over to kill you, or if you shoot someone with a net gun and they land in the corner over there, you can throw it over there to kill them a lot faster. The only time I'd ever really go for this grenade launcher up here is when the net guns have run out, or everything has run out really. It's not great because most of the map is pretty closed in, so you can't really benefit from being able to aim it that much. But you can shoot, over the edge here. It's kind of good, but other than that, there's not much else on this map. And now here's some clips from games that I've played on this map. So this map is Office 2. It has a decent amount of out-of-spawn meta. There's mainly just a couple things, but they're pretty important. If you get this spawn on the bottom left or the bottom right, and there's somebody above you, a lot of the time they'll break the glass to try and duplicate their gun at the top with the purple box. And what you can do is if you just strafe up against this wall and then jump and shoot, you'll get them a lot of the time. It's a pretty easy way to line it up. You just strafe and then jump shoot. Works over here too. If they're smart though, they'll anticipate that and they'll either pause or maybe they'll do something else. If you do spawn on the top here, you have a few options. You can break the glass and try and bait them to shoot and then jump up. Or if you think you're fast enough, you can just go through and jump. The other thing that you can do is if you're here and you already have something in your box up here, then you can clip through this glass here, kind of like this. And then once you're up here, you can get your pistol, and it's the safest way to avoid them, and it usually throws them off a little bit. As far as out-of-spawn meta goes, that's about it. During the game, there's quite a few things you want to be thinking about on this map. You'll notice that there's only 4 pistols on the map, which means there's a very finite amount of ammo. You definitely want to take the opportunity to duplicate your gun up in the purple box here, or if you already have another gun in here, you should use that too. But if you do run out of ammo, the first thing you're going to want to go to is this shotgun down here, and you're going to want to pay close attention to when you can grab this shotgun, because everybody else on the map is also going to want to get it. And if you don't have ammo, and you can't grab the shotgun, you're pretty much out of options. What I'd recommend is that if you have to run away from someone, you come down here to these doors, and you try and block them with a table, or maybe set up a mine that you can blow up. As I was saying, you can set up a mine that you can blow up if you're careful. You can also bait them to step over it. But mainly the thing that you want to think about is just make sure that you can grab the shotgun and preserve your ammo as much as possible. Don't be like randomly firing through glass or trying to angle someone that you know you're not going to get. So that's pretty much it for this map. Here's some clips from games that I've played on this map. The last map I'm going to talk about is Office 3. A lot of people know this map because it's the map with the death laser at the top. But I'll talk about that later. The first thing I want to talk about is the out-of-spawn meta. And if you're playing a 4-person match versus a 2-person match versus a 3-person match, it's going to change quite a lot. If you get the outer spawn, or the inner spawn, really, it doesn't matter that much. You can jump next to this spring to go up and get this shotgun, and typically at least 2 people will try and do that. So what you'll want to do is as soon as you get to the top, you want to shoot to the left or the right of the other person, like something like this. Once you do get to the top here and you either kill the other person or you get knocked away from them, you can use the grenade to try and get them if they got knocked away from you, or you can kind of come up here and grab the death ray. If you're good with the death ray, I definitely recommend trying to grab it as soon as you can. If you can angle with it consistently, unlike me, then you can get some pretty good kills. Especially if you can fly with it, you can become pretty safe. If you do come up here, you want to be watching for people to the right here who are going to come up and try and kill you from the spring. But that's pretty much it, is if you're assuming that you're going to go up this spring here. The other option that you have coming out of spawn is to go to the right or the left to grab the shotgun that's right here. This is usually what I do, although sometimes I'll mix it up and go up to the springs. I think this is the safer option because there's typically less people that go over here, usually just one person, rarely two people. And if there's another person that comes with you, you can always grab the quad laser and try and wall them off while you run over here to get the other shotgun. Once you have the shotgun, you can come up here and try and kill the remaining people. If there's somebody without a weapon trying to grab the quad laser, that's a pretty easy kill. These grenades that spawn up here are a great tool to use when you run out of shotguns, or if there's just somebody on the other side that you don't want to grab, you don't want to go to with a shotgun. It's pretty safe. The last thing on this map that's kind of important is this jetpack here. Personally, I don't use the jetpack very often because I prefer to have angles available. But if you're a newer player who doesn't use angles very much, then I definitely recommend grabbing the jetpack because you can skip the second jump to get to this death ray here, and it almost guarantees that you'll be the first one up here. And with the death ray, it's a pretty powerful combination because you can't die very easily, and you can get to places you wouldn't easily be able to stand at to laser people. The only downside is that in a 1v1, it's kind of hard to avoid somebody with a shotgun and still get a death ray on them without using an angle. But that's pretty much it for the map meta on this map, so here's some games that I've played on it.